You're
Sense
attending
for
this
having your
meeting?
camera on, isn't there?
If you're attending this meeting, our meetings are recorded for future viewing, and we are privileged to gather on the traditional territory of the Kwakwaka'wakw. We'll call the meeting to order. Can I have a motion, please, to accept the agenda as presented? No. Seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Item 4A, adoption of the April 5th, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
I'll move them.
Move, okay. Seconded. Yep, okay. Corrections or anything?
I have a motion that I'd like to make, either here or, I'm not sure where. So, my motion is this, that the minutes of meetings held between our regular scheduled meetings be added to our regular meeting agendas. Because as you see here, the last time the minutes are from April 5th. It was a month ago. And if we could have, for instance, tonight's committee of the whole meetings be added to our regular agenda meeting, which would be held on May 24th. I feel that it would be timely. In fact, we would, it would be still fresh in our minds as to what we recently discussed. So that's my motion. If this is appropriate here or later, I will make it wherever the desire
At
is.
Robert's rules, how does that work?
It would be a recommendation out of here, I realize.
Yeah, no, I'm saying whether Robert's rules says committee of the whole meeting minutes have to be approved. They're both nodding at committee of the whole meeting.
Roberts?
Yeah, so thank you, Mayor Wickstrom. Connor and I attended a corporate officers fundamentals boot camp. And one of the things we both learned, contrary to the way things were being done, is that the minutes of a meeting need to be adopted in a like meeting. So Harbor Advisory Group meeting minutes get adopted at a Harbor Advisory Group meeting. A committee of the whole is a committee separate from that of council. So the committee of the whole meeting minutes need to be adopted in the committee of the whole.
So if you didn't have a committee of the whole for like 6 months, you wouldn't see the minutes again?
That's correct. Like our North Island Community Forest, our
right.
annual meeting last year will be adopted. The minutes will be adopted this year.
Wow. What about our special meetings such as we had last week,
Those are considered regular council meetings.
considered regular council? So I guess then that means be careful what we're talking about in committee of the whole then. This really shouldn't be of any matters of substance then, really. Not if we wanted to have a.
I mean, just
The
make sure,
minutes.
we would make sure that it's on the regular council meeting.
Bring it back.
Bring it back,
right away.
yeah.
Bring it back right away. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So all those in favor of adoption?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. All right, moving to item 9A. I have asked Connor to share the screen. What will happen though, unless you can minimize them so I can still see them, you may have to just shout out when you're, just a sec, he's just going to share it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to share.
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
to, it's, I'm just trying to see how we can do this with having them both in picture.
You know what, it doesn't matter, just, it's committee of the whole, if you'd like to speak, just,
Interrupt.
yeah, mention it, just interrupt and we'll, just say, may I speak, please, and then I'll let you know if somebody else has their hand up here. Can you guys all see this, terms of reference on the screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So what I did, Derek, is I just put this on a Word document and I put in these questions to guide us. So I'm hoping that we don't wordsmith each section because we could be here for a long time, but taking the section and asking, are we in agreement with? So if for introduction, are we in agreement with the introduction and what is missing? And Connor will put point form what's missing and we'll recraft this later to bring back to us. So again, I can't see you. If there's anything you wanted changed or added or that's missing from the introduction, if we're fine, we'll move on to the purpose then. Go ahead, Councillor Dunn.
Oh, okay, so we're not allowed to wordsmith it, we're just examining it for.
Well, if we
context?
wordsmith, it's gonna take us a long time to get through this, so if there's anything, theme that you're missing, or if it's an easy wordsmith.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, Port McNeil is keen to enhance the community sector's ability to meet the demand for Parks and Rec in the town of Port McNeil. Strong interest in Port McNeil to better respond to residents and visitors' parks and recreation needs.
So we have examples in our package.
Yeah, so I guess for me, did you rewrite this?
I only made, because there was communities apostrophes, I didn't change it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, there was a couple of spelling errors.
sorry, it is changed from the one that we received
What?
originally, yeah. So I may have nothing to say then.
No, it's just, I didn't put, once they arrive is missing. I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stand down and we'll come back to it because it looks like it's been revised.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have said, if there's anything change, it was just like there was communities apostrophe and then sectors apostrophe. Yeah.
Can we see the second section, purpose?
Yep, we're going on to that one then. Okay, go ahead. Are we in agreement and what's missing on that section?
Can I just ask why we specify the staff?
Yeah.
Those are two brand new positions and they, but does that mean then that if they don't exist, that then the whole thing has to go back for another rewrite?
So I'll ask Derek, who was working with Marilyn, your intention on that particular? Oh, he might be with a customer.
Sorry, I'm
Oh,
selling
yeah.
weed at the moment. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
He's stimulating the economy.
Go ahead,
Through the chair.
Marilyn.
I think what we wanted to do is not cut out other things to address issues relating to the policies and strategic initiatives, because it may include someone like Public Works Manager. We're talking Parks and Recreation, specifically, let's say about the campground. Or it might include the finance person, like the CFO, or it might include the CAO. So we wanted to just leave that a little open-ended.
But I guess what I'm saying is, why wouldn't it just say members of the public to work with staff in making recommendations to mayor and council to
Yeah.
address them?
Okay.
Then
That
that
leaves
leaves
it
it
up
wide
there.
open to
Yeah.
everybody.
Betcha.
And it's simpler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with staff. Yep.
I
How
like
do you
this.
feel? Okay, good.
And members of the public, diversified goes away. It's not relevant because
It
A diverse,
defines it.
yeah, the town of Port McNill is seeking diverse members of the public.
Or
I
you're
think-
seeking members of the public from
Members of the
diverse
public. Yep.
walks of life
Mhm.
or representing diverse.
Well, and
areas.
it already stipulates on the next,
Yeah.
just further back, so yeah, you're right. Cleans and clean. Okay. Second paragraph. This is where, the purpose, this is where others may feel that there are some items missing from the committee's purpose.
I've got it, I was working off this, not.
Well, that's okay. Work off of that.
Okay, so my question I have here, the first line, Parks and Rec Advisory Committee is an advisory board of council and as such is in place for the sole purposes, should be sole purpose,
Yeah.
of providing advice to council in achieving work plans and objectives. In achieving work plans and objectives, my question is whose? Whose work plans, whose objectives? Who establishes what that is?
Through the chair, I guess the intention at the time was that the advisory committee would submit a work plan for the year based upon the OCP and council's recommendations, and the council would say, yes, we like this work plan, or no, we'd like to have this amended. Just to indicate that council has the ultimate power over the committee, is what I was trying to express there. Since they're not a commission and independent.
So if it was, for the sole purpose of providing advice to council through a work
Period.
plan?
Or
Yeah.
to council,
Period.
period.
Yeah, the other-
Okay, and
Period.
achieving work plans and objectives,
Yeah.
permit that?
I think that goes away.
Okay,
Because I think the directive will come, maybe my question is, will the directive come from the council table to say, Parks and Rec Committee, we seek a Parks Master Plan, will you undertake this for us? And then they now have direction and would report it back, so
that makes sense.
I don't know, or the question is, do we want this committee to bring forward stuff of their own volition, or do we want it? My concern is that a committee will gather, have a great idea, spend hours on it, it comes before council, and it's dismissed. And then you have people who have spent and invested a significant amount of time for no purpose, so that's another question, is what is the direction flowing?
So online, any comments to that? Because I can't see you, so if you're waving
Yeah,
frantically.
fair enough. I think that as with the Harbor Committee, I think council needs to give them tasks as opposed to them being self-directed. I don't know how you would write that in there. The other issue I have is, and I can't read it now because something came up on my screen, me.
Could you hold on just a second, Ryan? So can you type that in on that thing that, just.
Oh, there we go.
Council directed?
Okay.
Like what he's saying.
I'm looking at the last line of purpose. Unless otherwise directed by the Chief Administrative Office. I'm assuming that means office. But my question would be, does that apply to the entire paragraph? What does that unless apply to? I don't see how it fits anywhere. Why would you be giving somebody a veto on what everybody else has just done?
So
Because the unless is like erases everything that went before it.
So the intent on that, one, do you know, from the committee, did you have a comment on that, Derek? Or was that just using verbiage from another?
Yeah, I think that was coming, we compared the tourism committee and whatnot, so. But I take Ryan's point there, for sure. It should be under the direction of the council, not necessarily the day-to-day operations and stuff, of course, the CAO.
Can I say that it looks to me like we're mixing purpose and process together, because if you read the statement, comments and decisions of the committee must be in the form of a recommendation and will be referred to council
You're
for
right, yeah.
consideration. Period. The process is after the respective committee minutes have been adopted, or adopted, I guess, at the committee level. A discussion about who adopts whose meetings minutes where.
At the committee level and brought forward to council, because that's usually the process, right?
What, yeah, I think we've got purpose and process mixed together here. The process is it comes to council after they are satisfied and have approved.
Right, they make a resolution and then they bring it to us as a recommendation.
Through resolution, adopted through resolution, is that, with that? Minutes have been adopted, how do you want that said, or just period?
If you look at
We're wordsmithing now.
Yeah, if you look at the other ones though, it's just basically agendas and minutes will be prepared, will be distributed to the committee members by staff in accordance with procedure bylaw. The Recreation Commission will provide its minutes to the corporate legislative officer within 48 hours of any commission meeting where the board feels it's necessary, blah, blah, blah. Like it just seems like almost we're getting to.
Yeah.
It's just keep it simple, right? The committee recommendations on matters referred by council will generally be placed on the agenda for the first regular council meeting of the month. Accompanied, like, maybe just take it back that step and, okay, how do they get an agenda? How do the minutes get accepted? How do the minutes get to council? Maybe that's just, it could just be that simple. Parties are really long.
I have one from Ann Moore, and the purpose is short like ours. Introduction is actually the
Do
purpose.
we have it?
No, I did some research myself from other ones. I just pulled out a few more. Trend, we have one from,
We have one here, and I'm not sure who it's from.
well, Sal's is pretty short too.
Yeah.
We have some statements in the OCP that talk about parks and recreation. And perhaps the purpose might refer back to the OCP. So there's a guiding document there.
So where it says purpose, Connor, just refer back to OCP.
That just as part of it, I don't know how you'd write it in, but yeah, I think it might not hurt to have that in there.
And Shirley, you were stating that the second one is process. So maybe just put a header process on the second paragraph. Yeah, or not.
Well, that comes under the
Mandate.
meetings and such.
Okay, well then, and then maybe it doesn't have to be a header, Connor. It can just get shifted over to the appropriate place on
Even
the second
under,
page, right?
under meetings,
Yeah,
under meetings, it does say that the agenda will be created by staff.
yeah,
So yeah,
it's almost duplicated.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're grabbing from 5 different ones
Yeah.
and you're trying to put something together, you very often do that.
Which, by the way, I should have just said right off at the very beginning, thanks for the work that you did, Derek, along with staff, with Marilyn. It gives us a starting point, so thank you for that. Mandate, this is the one, this is the section where we may want to add. Oh, sorry, are we done with the purpose part as a general idea of what we are, what's missing and what's,
It looks pretty complete.
okay, so we'll go to the mandate then. We've got, I hope I didn't.
My paper doesn't have a mandate.
Oh, sorry, it's called role. Okay, so, yeah, where is this term of reference? Role, the committee will. So it's under role. The reason I put mandate, and I'll just, sorry, I should have said that this is, I only changed a couple of words because I feel that the terms of reference is one thing, but really what Marilyn and Councillor Cole did is this is an advertisement, like this is the one that goes to the committee. So the committee reads and goes, oh, the committee will. You know what I mean? But then aspects of this also gets put in a terms of reference, but I could be completely wrong on that.
So if I may, we have from Saanich Parks, Trails and Rec Advisory Committee, and if you read that document, I flagged it of all of them, because I feel that somebody reading it understands what they're getting into, what their purpose is, and what they can expect as they join that committee.
Is that the Parks, Trails, Recreation?
Yes, it is. That comes from Saanich.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
for us, one?
yeah, that one stood
I
out
think
for
it
me.
was from
Oh.
Saanich. It says here from Saanich on the recap. It doesn't actually have a title.
This is the corporation. Oh,
No, further-
yeah,
further back.
Thank you, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that one. If you read that, I mean, purpose is pretty succinct. Advise council and recommend policies on parks, trails, rec matters, including services, facilities, and specific community interests. I mean, that allows for addressing for what we have and what we want, right? It sort of encompasses both of those. The mandate then,
Hold on a sec. How does everybody feel about that purpose? Could we shift that one over? Would that be broad enough to give the committee a good scope on which to operate under?
I like it.
Can I see the guys for just a sec? Thanks. I know that Derek's probably working. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm okay with the purpose, but I do like some of what Town of Ladysmith's done under their mandate. I don't know how that fits in, but there's the fourth bullet kind of gives the committee a bit of leeway to to work on their own. It says recommending activities, projects, or work that the committee thinks would assist council to achieve the recommendations defined in, and then they refer their parks plan or the OCP. But other than that, no, I like the way this is putting along and getting cleaned up.
So you've got a note then on the introduction that we're going to steal on, you said it's sanages? So mandate, we've got the 4. I'm sorry, under mandate, if you could scroll to mandate. What is that you would like carried over, Councillor Cole?
The 4th bullet,
4th bullet,
Ladysmith's mandate, 4th bullet.
working cooperatively.
Yeah, and that would maybe replace the 3rd bullet. Or even combine it, because, you know, they reference their plans and whatnot.
So 4th bullet, town of Ladysmith. No, just
Just a
one moment. We're not taking the whole thing, Connor. We're just taking parts.
Under our 3rd bullet,
3rd bullet,
Use the strike through function because that would be going.
or, yeah, good, excellent.
And then we would be adding a bullet.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so add bullet 4 from town of Ladysmith. Mandate.
No, just a bullet.
Oh,
Sorry.
If I could ask, just to clarify, the 3rd bullet, is it the one that reads working cooperatively?
No,
no, the 4th bullet.
The 4th bullet.
Okay.
Derek was saying to replace or enhance our 3rd bullet, if I understood him correctly.
Yeah. Town of Ladysmith.
Yeah, and then, you know, that would end at the words town plans, to achieve recommendations defined within relevant town plans. Because we don't have a master plan or whatever yet. And I also like the 2nd bullet, which kind of keeps the committee from going astray again. Ensure that advice and recommendations are consistent with the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Master Plan. I mean, even though we don't have one.
I agree with that. I like that as well.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say other related town endorsed plans and strategies. So that would be active transportation plan, economic development plan.
Yeah, can you add that one too then? The 2nd bullet from Ladysmith, Connor, to that mandate section?
You go back up to what you got in
I'm just
there,
making it red first. Okay,
that we were taking off. In the 2nd bullet there, where it gets, relevant town plans, period.
Yeah.
Removing strategies, yada, yada, yada.
or other, I think we were keeping our other matters for from the town's
Okay.
input, yeah. Okay. And just to say, the 3rd one that we struck, there might be an element of it you might want to weave in. So it might not go completely, but when you read, yeah, okay. All right, was there anything else in this particular section? We don't care about spelling.
I just wonder if the 1st bulletin's even relevant now that we've added those other 2, other than foster cooperation.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
you're-
strike it.
strike the very first bullet, please, because it's captured in the other bullets, yeah. Good point, Councillor Cole, thank you. Oh, and we have responded to requests, yes, okay. If there's anything redundant in there, you can just, okay. Anything else in the mandate, or you believe that's?
I think that it would be appropriate to have within the mandate for Parks and Recreation, accessibility, considerations
Yes,
Agree.
yeah,
for those who have disabilities and need a little bit of, you know, different ways of getting around and through parks and so on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's baby buggies too,
Yeah, everything, yeah.
everything.
Elderly.
Mhm.
Sure.
Excellent, okay.
My question under committee goals, is that too specific for the terms of reference?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought that this, personally, I thought that this committee goals sticks within that other document that goes out when people are saying, oh, why am I putting my name in? What is it expected of me? Whereas I feel this might not necessarily be in the terms of reference.
Yeah, the terms of reference, I think, is kind of your running rules and expectations. And then I would expect that a document would be generated from council to saying, hey, these are the reports that we have access to. This is what we want you to do. And that little bit of formality of, I think maybe Marilyn, you were calling it a work plan. It almost feels like that goes there as opposed to in the terms of reference, because the terms of references should last year to year to year to year, whereas the short-term and long-term goals maybe wouldn't.
I like the short-term goals and that you came up with and the long-term. I mean, I think that they'll evolve probably coming out of what their short-term
Yeah.
goal is, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
To park them in.
Yeah, and they're a great start. It's
Yeah.
just, I think it's a different document.
So yeah, I think that would go out, the document that goes out, you know, or when somebody wants to know information about, okay, I'm putting my application in, here you go, this is what we're expecting of the committee.
So through the chair, do you want to strike the committee goal and remove them from this document?
I think so.
Yes. I'm thinking yes. How do you guys feel online? But it still gets given to committee members who are contemplating being on the committee.
Excuse me, we actually haven't even talked about this
No,
ourselves.
well, we're going to, but
So-
no. Right now, we're just talking about whether it belongs in a charter of reference. We'll get, the next thing is gonna be,
Okay.
Okay, so-
Yes.
yeah. No, I wasn't gonna dismiss it right there. So are we in agreement then that
Goes away.
committee goals comes out of the terms of reference?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about, because it is gonna go in the document that goes out.
But why don't we
Can
finish
I-
the terms of reference?
I was gonna say,
Okay.
can we do one thing first?
Okay, we'll put that in the parking lot then. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry.
all right. Advisory group members. That yellow is just I only put it in there for consideration. That's why I highlighted it. See suggestion below.
Can I jump in on this?
Absolutely, go ahead.
I'm thinking more looking at the voting members group, and that, we were famously spitballing when we came up with that. And I see that real problematic trying to narrow down all those areas and, whether there's a champion in each of those spots. So again, I kind of go back to Ladysmith, they got one simple sentence, up to 9 citizen representatives appointed by council through a public recruitment process. And my idea is the application form would have, like, what are your top 3 areas of interest? And, would you be willing to sort of steer a subcommittee, that kind of thing? And then we'll see what comes in, and then we hash that out from there. And I'm just going to take a little break because I got a customer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So,
I looked at that as well, and I thought that it would be nice to make that into a 1-sentence line and not limit those who are trying to recruit committee members to determining where they're going to fit in the committee.
If you
I
elect,
think just getting 20 applications would be wonderful, and then you could pick 9 out of it. And at that time, you can apply your criteria to the group of people that you attract. So it's good that there's going to be a broad range of people. I think that's understood, but limiting it at this level, I think, is not necessary. Because whoever's doing the selection will figure it out.
Saanich just says, to the extent possible, advisory committees will have a diverse membership with respect to gender, age, and cultural ethnic background. Ladysmith citizen members will represent a broad range of skills and or experience related to the committee's mandate, including but not limited to art, culture, sports, youth, recreation, horticulture, and parks management. Kind of take the 2 of them. Ladysmith was the second one, and Saanich was the first part. if you could kind of take those two lines and blend them together, that is definitely giving a basket of diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
And so we're eliminating that actual voting members will include like that, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna get stricken, the voting members part, yeah. I'll let you.
Through the chair, I think
A line that would say who the non-voting members are, which is going to be council and staff, right?
Yeah.
So we can just say that.
Do we want to say that it would be up to 9, but no less than a certain number, or do we don't care about that? Do we not care about that? Sorry, that's bad grammar. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Councillor Downey, go ahead.
I think you have to put a floor, because what if it gets down to 2 or 3?
Yeah.
You know, that's not what you want, but.
Okay. Okay. Can you strike the voting members? That, yeah, just put a little line through, yeah. And non-voting stays.
Can we not delete tourism, dev and public works? We may want the pool manager there,
You may want everybody there.
Yeah,
Because the way I read this, it meant that there would be 1 council member and up to 3 staff, so there could be no more than 4 there. And what happens if you have a night where you actually need 6 staff members for finance and
Yeah.
Julian and,
yeah.
Is it expected that there's always going to be a staff member present? I can't remember if it was in here where they said something about staff doing the
agendas.
agendas and stuff, and I have a problem with that. You know, like, first of all, yeah, I feel that the committee should have a chair and they should have a secretary and that they bring the agenda to staff, but I don't think our staff should do it. And I'm also thinking if we're always expecting, I know from time to time, it's going to be important to have certain staff members in those meetings. But if we expect, say, tourism to be there, well, that tourism guy could be at this recreation one, could be at the tourism meeting. He could be at a regular council meeting here when we give a report. And there's one other area, one museum. So if there was one every week, like he would have 4 meetings in the month. And I think that's a lot to expect. That doesn't mean from time to time that will happen, but is there an expectation that there will always be a staff member? Go ahead, Councillor Downey.
Just my experience from the tourism, I think that it works best when the committee invites the relevant staff member to the meeting. So we did invite our ECDEV manager and our tourism to our last meeting, but that won't be an every meeting, you know, but, and then with regards to setting the agenda, I absolutely agree. It should be set by the committee, should establish, because they're the ones determining what it is that they will be focusing on. So I was unsure, and maybe staff could clarify why it had staff sets the agenda. Maybe we misunderstood.
Can I cut in there?
Certainly, go ahead.
Yeah, because taking minutes sucks and I want a good committee of happy people. And I thought staff could do it and it didn't want it to fall on me and it would be done properly. It'd be done on time. It'd be 24 hours before a meeting. And we're gonna need a lot of help, I think. So that is why I suggested it, but I'm easy either way. I hope somebody steps up, but you're talking about a whole bunch of people with regular jobs and notifying people. So that was my thought there.
From the harbor committee perspective too, the agendas are prepared and then the minutes are done. I think if you've got to conform to the posting, the being ready, the public, all of that, that's you're starting to really ask a lot. And I don't think it should be a huge time sink. It's just a part of what we do, and then that allows for continuity and a level of professionalism within our minutes and our reporting.
Well, if I may say, I think that the committee needs to figure out what they're gonna put on the agenda for the next meeting. If they had gotta go to staff and communicate with them. If they had a template that said new business, old business, whatever, the same as we have, then they can just plop in the stuff, throw it at staff, who will, put it in a nice format, print it out and distribute it to the members maybe. But as far as creating the items to go on the agenda, I think that's pretty much the role of those who are doing the consideration of parks or whatever the committee happens to be.
Can I ask a procedural question? So those that are commissions now, they look after their own minutes and everything, right? They're no longer. So we're really looking at now recreation, tourism, tourism commission, sorry, recreation
And harbor,
and harbor.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I was saying not necessarily a staff member there, but the chair is giving all the info and then the staff is compiling like the rest of the meetings.
Would you have a?
This through the chair, maybe to change it, say, agendas will be prepared for the committee by staff. So staff can type them up, distribute them, get the minutes back from whoever's taking minutes at the meeting.
Just plug
Yeah,
in their
just so
notes.
that it's all
Change the word.
Yeah, yeah.
What line is that one down? By,
Second paragraph under meetings,
okay,
agendas will be prepared as opposed to created. Prepared and distributed. not
I
submitted.
was gonna say agendas will be submitted by the committee and prepared by staff. Whatever. We don't get into.
Prepared as directed by the committee, by the staff. Or prepared. Whether it's this.
Yeah, you guys can wordsmith it. You get our intent, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
just capturing the
Yeah.
intent.
Can I jump in? I'm wondering
Sure.
about, I think we've all noticed some certain meetings, there's been more participation because you can attend electronically. So if, is that an option for these committees? And if so, then I guess, then we do need staff support. So I don't know if we can make a consideration and,
Well, our procedures bylaw does have for electronic meetings, so, yeah.
and that would be assumed if we went that way, we would need staff support.
Yeah, probably, or at least in setting up the meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just scared of setting up a meeting, that's all. Okay, I gotta duck out for a sec again.
Piling in a whole lot of.
I think for the terms of reference, the procedure bylaw is still gonna be going, this still refers, the procedure bylaw, this doesn't override that, right?
Yeah.
So if our procedure bylaw allows for electronic, that's something to figure out
Yeah.
later. For this terms of reference, we don't need to even get to that spot yet. You just need to get like the selection and the meetings and the quorum. And then we would have a terms of reference.
So do we feel comfortable with the selection process part?
Do we already have something? We're not, do we already have a committee selection bylaw that this would be counter? Okay. Do we have this in any of the other ones that, just to keep consistency?
Yeah, I think every terms of reference is different, like the harbor group, we have, X amount of recreational users, X amount of non-boat users, X amount of commercial users. Tourism group, I think we,
Okay.
pick from different sectors.
Okay.
Under there, it says, those who wish to be reappointed after the completion of a term must reapply and provide an application for council's decision. Is that not redundant? Is not reapplying, submitting an application?
Not necessarily.
I'm not sure what the application, what information would be on the application that you wouldn't have just proved out in the last 2 years. So unless there's something with
So
the
must
application.
reapply and
will be required.
Why don't we just mark that as clean up the language and leave it?
Yeah, clean up language, sounds good. You can type that there, just clean up that language. And that's on the members part, yeah, there, just. No, yeah, after that sentence, Connor, just type clean up language, and you guys can figure out how you're gonna clean that language up. Perfect. I'm assuming also between Derek and Marilyn making little notes. Between three people here, it's gonna get captured, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, we'll sort it.
Okay, did you want to go back to the, or do we feel fairly comfortable? Because then we should go back to your, the goals for the last.
I wanted to ask quorum, do we need to spell it all out? Is 50% plus one not understood?
Maybe just say, a calculation of quorum to conduct business is 50% of voting members plus one. And then you could get rid of all that.
Yeah.
Because it's only the voting members that count towards quorum, right?
That's
That's the
right.
intent.
That's right.
Of voting members plus one, okay.
Perhaps referred to other quorum
Yeah.
language we have in other policies.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Such as the Tourism Commission.
Okay.
So then shifting over back to the short and, long-term goals.
Just one question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, under meetings, the committee will meet a minimum of XXX times per year in accordance with its regular schedule established annually. So if you don't have quorum on the first Thursday of the month, you're expected to have a meeting on the second Thursday of the month. I'm just wondering, like, what the intent is, right?
So through the chair, the reason I put this in here is so how many meetings do you want? This council will have to let us know how many meetings they would like that committee to hold annually. 4, 2, 6, you know, it's,
Kind of depends on the mandate given,
Yeah.
But we're working
because
on
we
it.
have like a planning commission and we just, whenever we call them, we don't say you
Yeah.
gotta meet once a month.
That's a tough one, because that's exactly, you said at the beginning, it's the worst thing in the world to have people come together and then they don't have any business to talk about, but they've all, you know, had their dinner early and.
Can we look at, the language that the APC has for that? Because they don't have, I don't know if they have a minimum, but, you know, let's just check out the APC language, because then the Recreation Committee could probably, meet the same way. Right?
So LaSalle and Saanich are saying quarterly. Or at the call of the chair.
You know what, and I think quarterly at the call of the chair is perfect, because if they really have something they've sunk their teeth into, the call of the chair will be monthly.
Yeah.
Or bi-weekly, it depends what they're,
Okay.
what's going on.
But you do want to give people some sort of idea that.
What the minimum is.
What the minimum is,
Yeah.
I think quarterly.
Okay. All right, so shifting back to the committee goals. I had in yellow, what is missing, and is this a good start? So it's not going to be in here, but it is still going to be, yeah, okay, great, you're nodding your head, excellent. So under short term, what, do you feel that that's a good short term to get them started?
5-year strategic plan, as well as monitor and provide council with milestone achievements and required plans required for same. Maybe I could
That's
get
a
clarity as
big
to what that means past the 5-year strategic plan.
through the chair, the reason I put 5-year strategic plan is primarily because it's really tough to plan any further out than 5 years on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it's the rest of that paragraph that I'm
As well
unsure.
as monitor and provide counsel with milestone achievements. So if your strategic plan says that, in 3 years, we will have another baseball diamond. In 3 years, we will have, or in 5 years, we'll have a new swimming pool. And we get close to that timeline, the committee can say, we're not hitting that goal. So let's tell council and find out what they advise us to do. Do we drop that goal? Do we amend that goal? Do we change our timelines? Do we, we're not gonna build a new pool, maybe we're just gonna have a water park, for example. So that's why I put, because if you're going to have a plan, it's gotta be approved by council. And this was on the assumption that council will want to know, where are you with your plan?
But I think once, like if the plan was to get a pump track, this committee's short-term goal would be, first of all, I assume to figure that the pump track is their number one priority. Council agrees. And then I'm not sure I see where the committee, other than maybe being the bounce for design or something, it's gonna come out of their hands, so they're not gonna know if they're meeting the goal or not. Like, I almost feel like the short-term goals, developing the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and inventory, because we've probably got some reports here that say things need to be replaced and to understand what the ideal rubber bounce levels are and all of that sort of stuff. It almost feels like some of these long-term goals would move into the short, and the 5-year strategic would be a bit more on the long term. Because within 6 months, you're just gonna get the people together. And if you've got 9 people trying to get their information out, and that's the other thing, we didn't put anything in there about a length of a meeting either, if it was gonna be capped at a certain, or does that come under our procedure bylaw?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can say that our tourism, we as a group, when we very first sat down and everybody said 60 minutes, that's it. Come prepared, be succinct, let's get business done. We're not here to talk. We're here to get business done and carry on. So 60 minutes is what that group chose to set as a guideline. And I think that perhaps this group could do the same. And that would be the chair to determine or to set that or the members.
Like, I wouldn't be concerned if within the first year, they were just getting to the annual plan. Like 6 months just seems like a bit of a really tight.
I think you're right.
I mean, 5-year plan would go the long term,
I think so.
and then the 2 under long term would be either removed or to 6 months.
I think the gathering data could go up under short term because you're gonna want them to have information before they bring recommendations or improvements and.
I think those are details that are gonna get worked out by the committee. I don't think we can write a process for that.
I agree.
That's the living document part of it, right? It's gotta have a bit of guidance from council, but then they've gotta give us the input to fill it in, rough it up.
We have another meeting in 11 minutes.
And we're doing well, Ryan.
Yeah, we're almost done here. I am watching the time. Anything else you wanted to add to the?
Does the application form get attached to the terms of reference or is that separate?
I think it will.
It would be attached to the terms, yeah, because Derek had some pretty strong thoughts about what should be on it, so it would be nice to see an example of that.
Would you mind dropping that down and going back to the screen there, please? Thank you. Anything else here that you wanted to mention under short or long term, or are we good? The staff has enough now to recraft and bring it back again?
You bet.
Thumbs up. Okay. In that case then, can I have a motion, please, to adjourn this committee of the whole? Seconded. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Great. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
And we're just same login?
Connor, same login?
Yes, it's the same login. I'm just going to stop the video. I can leave it open if you'd like, or I can shut the whole thing down. And
No,
start
it's
again.
fine. You guys can just go on mute and turn your cameras off and come back in 10 minutes to the same link here.